Today I'll be breaking down the who, what, where, when, and how of African American English, which for short can go by AAE. So let's just dive into who. Who is it that speaks African American English? By the name itself, I think it would be easy to assume African Americans, which wouldn't be a completely off assumption. Majority of the speakers of AAE are African Americans, but one, not all African Americans speak African American English, and two, African American English isn't exclusive to only African Americans. So now that we know who speaks African American English, let's break down what it is. So, African American English, which also is known as African American Vernacular English or African American Varieties of English or Black English, and what some refer to it as in the 70s as Ebonics, is a dialect of English, similar to British American English. It has its own grammatical rules and it follows a pattern. So, what African American English is not is slang or bad English. So, now that we know who speaks African American English and what African American English is, you may be curious, where did African American English come from? Well, African American English came out of slavery. Those who were sold into chattel slavery were taken away from those who spoke the same language as them. Many historians and linguists aren't completely sure where the dialect for African American English came from, but it has theories that it is a Creole like language, and in combination with British English is where the formation of African American English came. Due to the fact that African American English arrived through slavery, it has its roots in southern states. But today, African American English can be heard all over the United States and even some places abroad. And how is that so? Well, the answer to that is the Great Migration. Between 1910 and 1930, more than millions of African Americans moved out of the South, migrating to cities such as Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and more to escape the oppressive economic conditions within the South. Through this travel, African American English was taken from the South and spread to the Northeast, West, and Midwest. So the term Ebonics first came about in 1973. It was coined by a group of Black scholars who originally did not like the term that had been used in the 60s, which was non-standard Negro English. They felt it had negative connotations. So African American English, or still at the time known as Ebonics, was defined as a separate language from Standard American English in 1996. So now in these next few clips, I'm going to break down how African American English is typically used. There are many phonological processes within African American English. I'll go through a couple. So let's take the Standard American English word bath. Bath ends in the voiceless TH. If that word is to be said in African American English, the TH is replaced with F, changing the word to bath. Now, let's take the word last in Standard American English. It ends in the cluster ST, making the sound st. In African American English, the cluster is reduced, taking last to last. In African American English, the word been can be stressed. It indicates that something has been done and completed for quite some time. For example, in AAE, the sentence, she been married, indicates she has been married for a long time. Or in the sentence, I been had a job, indicates I have had a job for a long time. So within this chart, I'll break down the tense and conjugation for the verb run. Past tense, she ran. Present tense, she running. Future tense, she gon' run. And there's the occasional or habitual tense, which signifies it may occur. And for that, it would be, she be running. In some contexts, the copula is and are can be replaced with be or taken out completely. For example, Standard American English would be he is working. In AAE, he be working replaces is with be. Or he working, where the copula is removed completely. Here are a few of my favorite songs whose lyrics follow the rules of African American English. Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Ain't No Valley Low Enough. The Rolling Stones, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. And Bill Withers, Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone.